What's up guys, aarava here, and welcome to a very different kind of video today. We've got a bit of an experiment video here on the F1 2018 game, because today we're asking the question, what would happen if we have 1 million R&D points to spend? Yes, you heard that correctly, 1 million R&D points to spend. Probably overkill for how many points you actually need in this game to upgrade the car to a maximum car, I guess, from the base in Season 1. But that is the experiment and question we're asking today. We're here at Williams Martini Racing, and we're here at the beginning of a brand new career mode, and as you can see there in the top right, we actually have 1 million R&D points. You know, the good Lance Stroll money really got pumped in for this season. Stroll's given us the good funds, and so we can spend all the money we could possibly want on the R&D today. So let's dive into it and we'll see what goes on. If you do end up enjoying the video, then guys, be sure to smash that like button there. But we're going to start off then, of course, having these funds straight away. We can upgrade every single department efficiency and quality control there is. You can get every single 5 levels on the engine department, the aerodynamics department, and the chassis department. What's that going to mean? Well, in the long term, as we go on through this season now, every upgrade we do will be the cheapest possible in the game, because we've done the efficiency upgrade to level 5, and then at the same time we've got the quality control of level 5, which pretty much guarantees, near enough, I think about 98% of the time, we will not have an upgrade fail on the car. If an upgrade does fail, it will be an absolute miracle in terms of that's happened, because with the quality control, it is quite a boost in terms of making sure there's not a failure. But this is going to mean that at the start here, we might upgrade quite slowly, because you can see there's only maybe 2 upgrades to do at a time. And remember, when you start an F1 2018 career mode, the contract means that you can only do 1 upgrade per department. But as we move on, we can negotiate contracts, hopefully, get simultaneous development going, and then we can really rapidly start to improve the car, because then also everything will be cheaper and also nothing will be failing as well. So at the moment, it's going to be a bit of a slow start, but you can see already we buy every single upgrade available, which is 1 engine, 1 aero, 1 chassis, and 1 reliability upgrade. And now, here's where we start going through the career mode and seeing what happens. So in order to actually make this video in some timely manner, what I was doing was I was going through each race and simulating the session. You can do a one-shot quali, and then you can simulate the race. So for most of these races, I was simulating the session, and so the computer was generating where I should be coming and where Lance Stroll should be coming in the Williams car. So it will be a kind of a good assessment of how fast you can actually take the AI team from the top to the bottom with 1 million R&D points to spend. So we go through then to the next race weekend, the Bahrain Grand Prix. You can see the only upgrade that's actually installed is the reliability, because at the very start of your career mode, it takes 2 weeks for even minor upgrades to come in. So we're going to really need to get to that contract negotiation point after, I believe it's the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, to negotiate a better deal and a better contract to make sure we actually get upgrades faster than this. But at the moment then, we move on to after the Chinese Grand Prix. We can finally buy some new parts there. We've got 1 upgrade on each department so far, and you can see also we delve into the reliability as well. But like I said, at this point, we're kind of waiting now for Azerbaijan to come through so that we can actually upgrade our contract, because at the moment, the minor, it takes 2 weeks, the major takes 3, and the ultimate 4. We really need better contract terms to make this upgrading go a little bit faster. So here we go then. We're at the first contract negotiation. I was a little bit worried though, because the simulation of the game was basically making me come in last place every single race. So I wasn't too sure how good of a contract we could get. So I had to play around and tactically think about, we don't need a race bonus, we don't need a good team goal, so we make that hard. We don't need a race bonus, we don't need pit stop efficiency, because I'm simulating the races. We're going to go for the upgrade speed of level 2, reducing the major and minor by 1 week, and also go for the simultaneous development there, so we can do as many simultaneous developments as we want, basically. And with some high enough qualifying and race positions also in the contract, we're able to successfully negotiate eventually then level 2 on the simultaneous development and level 1 on the upgrade speed. So that will reduce every minor upgrade by 1 week and will allow us to do 3 upgrades per department in simultaneous development. So at the moment, because we're at the very early stage of the tree, we're kind of dealing only with minor upgrades. So only having the minor upgrades reduced by 1 week is not too much of an issue. Then on the very next contract negotiation, we're going to have to work and worry about the major upgrades and reducing those closed by 1 week to try and get more speed into the development, basically. You can see the impact that having so many R&D points has on development, how going into the Spanish Grand Prix, we're ahead of Toro Rosso, and hopefully so in the next couple of rounds now, we'll be getting on to catching Sauber, and then also McLaren, who are lagging a little bit in that midfield fight. And like I said, with the quality control and also the efficiency on all the departments, it just means everything is so much cheaper, and it means eventually we should be able to get to a point where we're getting exponential growth because everything is working at max efficiency, unlike all the AI teams around us who are still probably only spending, a few hundred here and there for upgrades and quality control of their department. So we move on then swiftly. You can see all green on upgrades, and we leap forward a little bit there ahead of time. We're now ahead of Sauber, and we should be getting ahead of McLaren pretty damn soon on the R&D chart there. Very close to them now as we move on into the Monaco Grand Prix. We've got some major upgrades now coming in, so we're now hitting the part of the R&D tree where once again we're kind of almost waiting for when the contract negotiation comes up, because we need to reduce now the major upgrades by 1 week more, because the majors are taking 3 weeks now to develop. So 3 weeks is 3 rounds. That's quite a lot of time just to be sitting around, and we're running out of mine upgrades to do. You can see actually still on the aero department, we have a lot of miners still to go. We've already upgraded 4 miners, and we've got 3 more to go on the aero. So actually the Williams aero department is really good in that kind of way. If you can really rapidly improve the Williams car aerodynamically, because you've got so many miners. And only at this point in the kind of recording did I realize that the reliability upgrades don't actually get affected by simultaneous development. So I upgraded every single bit of the reliability to kind of finish that out. So we have an absolutely ridiculous amount of upgrades then, you can see there on that page, going forward into the rest of the season. So now we kind of skip forward a little bit into the Austrian Grand Prix. We've got a lot of majors now onto the car. We're really moving forward, and now at this point of the season at the Austrian Grand Prix, we've done Monaco, Canada, France, and Austria now. We are ahead of all the midfield teams. So already before we even get to the halfway point of the season, we've outpaced Renault, Haas, Force India, and McLaren with the R&D development due to that awesome funding of R&D points. And to be fair, actually, if you look at the top right, we haven't even scratched the surface of 1 million. So like I said, 1 million might be a bit of overkill, but we continue on to plow ahead then. You can see the chassis and aero. If you look on the right hand side where we are in the tree, we're pretty poor still on aero and the chassis compared to everyone else, but the engine is doing absolute bits. I don't know what it is. I think obviously Williams start off pretty high up on the engine chart anyway because of the Mercedes engine, but only a few upgrades on the engine department, and we've got the best engine on the grid. Even though we're in the bottom 4 for chassis and aero, we actually jump everyone in the midfield because the engine kind of really exponentially pushes our overall kind of performance really quite up there. But now we're going to skip forward a few more rounds. So we're going to do Austria, Britain, Germany, and we're going to move all the way to the Hungarian Grand Prix. And now you can see we've got even more upgrades on the car. We've got really a lot of major updates now on tyre wear, the aero as well. And now we've got to the point where it's actually getting a bit ridiculous and funny in a way, because look at this R&D chart and performance chart. We have leapt ahead of everyone. We've leapfrogged Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes in only 3 rounds then. And we're now the best car on the grid on paper there. And it's just a bit, it's a bit crazy. Like literally the exponential growth is ridiculous from Austria to Hungary. It's literally like an inflection point and nearly just goes completely straight up there. And it's now leap and bound the best car on the grid, which is crazy to think, but we're still going to keep going because we're going to see how far we can take this. That's the point of the experiment, seeing how far we can really push this car now with the max points we've got and the development we're trying to go for. So you're seeing on screen there now, we're really deep into each part of the R&D tree on the engine, aero, and chassis. We're getting to kind of the last 2-3 levels of the actual R&D tree, and that's all thanks to obviously right at the start, those quality control and the efficiency control updates means we can just keep on rapidly building on that. And for the first time then in the simulation, was the first time the game simulated Lance Stroll, my teammate, as winning the race, and I weirdly came in P12 on the simulation, which kind of shows, unfortunately, the game has a pretty crap and shoddy simulation to put me in P12 and Lance Stroll in P1, despite us having the same car there. So that was a little bit odd, but yeah, a pretty big landmark then for the very first time in in the career mode season did the team simulate my teammate getting a win, or just our car getting a win then. So it took till the Hungarian Grand Prix. So pretty much slap bang in the halfway stage of the season before the summer break was when the game basically when the R&D got us to a point where the game thought, yeah, our car can probably win a Grand Prix. But now we move on to negotiating the contract, and you can see that I actually fail the negotiation because I only came P12 and Lance won the race at Hungary. It really brought my reputation down. So a little bit of a speed bump in the road then, because I get given my original contract from round 1. So it means I'm back to square one, where ultimate upgrades take 4 weeks, major takes 3 weeks, and minors take 2 weeks, and I can't do any simultaneous development. So yeah, a bit of a big speed bump here at this stage of the R&D, but we'll plow on then. We have to try and do a better job, and hopefully we can have some better results and negotiate a better contract later on. Funnily enough though, even though we were plowing on and we still had the best car by a country mile at the Belgian Grand Prix, it ended up being a Ferrari dominated race, and the simulation gave Lance and myself some very lower down positions compared to where I thought we would be. So a little bit of a blip in the system still, and maybe shows the kind of legacy in the F1 2018 game that if you're developing the car, you almost have to overdevelop the car to actually see the results you want to see, because I feel like the game has a natural kind of tug and pull of each car of where it used to be when you started the career mode, and so you have to overdevelop to actually be the best car on the grid out and out. But moving on then through this season, we get to the Italian Grand Prix, and you can see a lot of green upgrades there and a lot of major upgrades now onto the car for all 3 departments really: engine, chassis and aero. And now we're getting to ultimate upgrade territory, and you can see how ridiculous the upgrading is now. We are like literally a full midfield pack ahead of Ferrari, Mercedes and Red Bull. So from now on, I would be very surprised if the game is not giving us first places from now on. You can still see on the bottom of the performance chart there, the results have been very kind of up and down, wish-washy here and there, and so far we haven't really got a lot of consistency. So the game still thinks there's a random chance we won't do as well as the performance chart would have you think there in terms of how far we are ahead of the top teams. But it does come good for us at Italy. It's a 1-2 there at the Italian Grand Prix, and this is pretty much now where we maybe begin to get a bit of momentum and the wheels start turning for a very dominant end to the season. Because as we move on to the Singapore Grand Prix, then a landmark then in this experiment, for the very first time now the game believes and simulates that me and Lance Stroll can get a 1-2 in a race there. Lance, it's his second win of the season, but so far we haven't been up there with him, and so for the first time the game has confidence in the simulation that both me and him can get a 1-2 there. And so from now on it's really going to be that kind of same pattern, because our car is so much better now and we can just keep chucking R&D points at it, because we're still not even scratched the surface of our 1 million. And even when we get given an R&D reset, Carl talks about, okay, we're in trouble here, there might be a reset for next year. No issue. We've got the money. We've got the good Stroll money. We can literally repurchase and save everything and adapt everything. So you can see there, confirm adaptation for every single upgrade we've done on the aero department. We got clearly handed an aerodynamic reset for Season 2. No issue. We can adapt every single part. So for Season 2 at the very beginning, will be good to have the entire aero department still there. Obviously something you can't do when you don't have that many R&D points to spend. And you can see we're still not even done on the actual chart there. We still have plenty of minor, major and ultimate upgrades to go on the aero, engine and chassis. But now we move through in a sequence of domination then of a 1-2 at the Russian Grand Prix, a 1-3 at the Japanese Grand Prix, which kind of was a bit weird. Somehow Vettel in the simulation got P2 despite our car being literally light years ahead now of Ferrari. But anyway, we move on then to the USA Grand Prix, a 1-2 there. Each time though, I thought it was a little bit weird that the game kept simulating Lance Stroll beating me. So the game's very, very harsh on you if you do simulations in the career mode. But we win 1-2 at USA, like I said, the 1-2 at the Mexican Grand Prix, and a 1-2 at the Brazilian Grand Prix. And so we're going to head into the final round and see where we are and where things stand on the R&D chart then. So we've got one little upgrade there on the chassis, and you can see on the zoomed in chart how ridiculous now we're getting in terms of almost Ferrari and Mercedes and Red Bull off the page there on that small chart on the email. As we move on to the actual right hand side, you can see how far are we ahead, and we've still got all these ultimate upgrades to go. And on the actual zoomed out chart, we're literally an entire F1 2018 grid ahead of Ferrari. And then at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, surprise surprise, surprise, we have a 1-2 there, and we're going to go to the end of the season. But we're going to carry on, because I think it'll be fun to see how fast we can get up to a maximum car. Literally every upgrade installed onto the car. So we go through the cutscene then for the end of Season 1 and transition into Season 2 with a lot of upgrades on the car. We can renegotiate our contract then for a good position. Obviously, we got plenty of 1-2s, and even though I was being beaten by Lance the entire time, the game still thought I was doing a good job, so I was able to negotiate a pretty damn good contract there. And now you can see we've got the final ultimate upgrades on the engine, chassis, and aero departments, and we'll be maximizing this car then going to Australia. But to my surprise though, going into the Australian Grand Prix, we for the very first time in this experiment recording had 2 failures of the final upgrades on the aerodynamics, which was really, really odd. We had the full quality control, full efficiency. Not one point in this recording did an upgrade fail until this very last 2 upgrades. Like, what are the odds in that? The final 2 upgrades we have to do are the ones that fail, and nothing else failed before. But anyway, we buy those, rebuy them. Obviously, that's only going to take 1 week then. We get a 1-2 at the Australian Grand Prix, and so into the Bahrain Grand Prix, round 2 of Season 2, we have a completely maxed out Williams car there. And you can see on the top right, we really have not even touched a lot of this 1 million R&D perks. Actually, that gives you a good indication then of how many R&D points you kind of roughly need to take the Williams car from the top, from the bottom right to the top. It looks like it's roughly just under 80,000 points of R&D you need to actually take the Williams from the bottom to the top to do the full road to glory over the course, obviously, of many seasons. Maybe if you didn't have the full 80,000 straight away, but roughly, maybe speaking, 80,000 to take a team from there. And so for us, we have an extra 910,000 just sitting there, not being put to use. So the Lance Stroll money really came into play. But that is going to be the end of the video and experiment then. So that is what happens when you have 1 million R&D points to spend. You can take Williams from the very bottom right to the top in only 1 season and 2 rounds. And remember, we hit a speed bump of that contract negotiation in the middle. We could have probably done the max from the minimum to the maximum probably in 1 season if I didn't hit that road bump in the middle where I got reduced to my previous contract negotiation there. So that definitely could have been a possibility. But guys, if you've enjoyed this, I know, very, very random and weird video of this F1 2018 experiment, then be sure to smash the like button. I really enjoyed making it, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. And if you guys have any more ideas of any other F1 2018 experiments and scenarios I could try in this kind of fashion where I simulate the races and see what happens if we do certain things, then let me know in the comments below what other scenarios you want to see, and I'll try and make them in the future. But if you're new around here, do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I have been aarava. Hope you enjoyed the day, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.